here's the thing. If you've never been to my class before, then today I'm going to do a full-on introduction, as it were. Essentially, the first thing I want to tell you is, and it's a bit disappointing, is that my classes are not long. I'm not long-winded. This is a problem. I know some of you want to listen to me and read all my notes, but my notes are very brief. My classes are even shorter. Yeah. And also, I'm glad to see so many new faces. That way I can recycle some of the jokes also. So it's helpful. Thank you. So the other thing is, first thing I do in class, I always tell the students what I'm going to do with them. So they know full well. So they know when to leave and when to stay. The first thing I'm going to do, today we're going to do, I think, only 3 things. The first thing is I'm going to introduce myself to you, right? And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the course outline and the exam questions, not exam, assignment questions, right? So that's the second thing. And the last thing will be me going through the introductory aspect of strategic management, right? You all are here for strategic management, right? So you're not for anything else.
Yes,
so yeah, so it's just 3 things, guys, just 3 things. Won't take very long. It's not like aeronautical science or something. It's quite straightforward, and I can see that many of you will have good working experience. That's where you benefit. See, the value you can get from learning is if you reflect. I don't know if you've heard this word before or understand how it means. When we say reflect, what that means is you're listening to what's happening, and you are thinking about, is this true or is this not true? Does it apply? And then you are thinking in terms of your own organization. Does it work? Is it real? So whatever we learn, the most important thing now in 2024 is that it has to be real. Those are the days when people read something in the textbook and it's in the textbook. It doesn't really quite apply in real life. But we have no time for that. It has to apply and it must make sense. So you've got to keep going back. So half the battle is already won if you've got some work experience, right? So you can go back and think about what's happening in your own organization, and that'll be very helpful, right? Because at the end of the day, the point to realize is an MBA is about application, right? It's not about knowledge. Knowledge is everywhere, the notes, you can get it from Google, you can get it from AI, you can get it from textbooks, you can get it from so many places. So knowledge is not the issue. It's never been the issue. And at MBA level, it's application, right? So reflection will help you to do that, to get you there, right? I'm sure you would know that. So now what I'll do is very quickly, the first thing I'm going to do, the first thing as I told you, is the introduction. Let me see if I can. So this is the brief introduction in case some of you don't know my name. There you go. Guys, it says that's my name. That's not actually my name, right? My name is just Siri Roland Xavier. You can call me Roland, right? So that's good. Yeah, the reason why, we see that whenever we teach a subject, we must tell people our qualifications. Normally in work, you don't do that, right? You don't talk about qualifications so much. But you're paying a fee, so you want to know that I can read and write. I'm very pleased to tell you that I can read and write, so that should be useful. So this is what I've done. I'm also on the editorial board. Maybe tomorrow, if you write some papers, journal publications, who knows? Maybe you might give me a chance to review your paper as well. So this is my basic background. Actually, I've got not that much academic experience relative to my work experience, right? So actually, I'm from the industry. So I worked with Anderson for some time. I was running the Malaysian office for Asia Pulp and Paper. If any of you might know, is actually part of the Sinarmas Group. It's a listed company on New York Stock Exchange. So I was running the Malaysian office for a time. And then, of course, I started some companies. And then I also, we had a VC company where we had funds, venture funds coming in. And 4 of us directors who ran this company. Funding came from Asia Tech, and we ran it for about 7 years, right? So it's very interesting how to raise funding. Some of you may be looking at that, venture capitalist funding to run something or start a novel business as well. Then after that, I actually joined the university because I retired early. I retired at the young age of 45, actually. My father worked till he's 70. So we always got to be better than our fathers, I think. Then I started this thing called the Joy Factory. This one is actually just for it's and like a non-profit organization to help OKU, Orang Kurang Upaya, or Orang Kelainan Upaya. So we help those with autism and other challenges, and we raise funding, and we also provide them with actually, it's very interesting because and I'm really passionate about it. We actually provide exercise because a lot of the people with autism and other mental issues, genetic issues, they don't get enough exercise because the parents can't take them out. So what we do is we create a situation where they can come out and a safe environment where they can get exercise so that they will be, because otherwise they have a tendency to put on weight because they, and you don't blame the parents because you can't take them out, right? It's very hard to manage them. So we do that one. In fact, right now, nearby, my wife is running one of the things. So we do it just to assist the community in our area. So that's we talk more about that. Maybe some of you are, involved in that or something along the same lines.
Prof,
So
you do this weekly or daily, Prof?
We have, I think on the weekdays is twice, but on a Sunday mornings, every Sunday morning. So
all right, thank you.
So so if I have some pictures some time later on now, next few weeks I try to share with you. Currently I do a lot of consultancy projects. We finished the one with CIMB Bank just before COVID. It was a long one, 2.5 years. Now I'm currently on with the Toyota Tusho managerial evaluations. That means in order for people with Toyota Tusho is the supply chain arm for Toyota. And in order for them, the managers and upwards to be promoted, they have to sit. There are two things must happen. They must pass an exam, which is set by me. And then if they pass the exam, then they get an interview with the CEO or the MD. If they get through this, then they get promoted. This is for managers, senior managers, general managers, directors, So people in that organization, some of them love me, some of them hate me. If they don't pass, they get upset. There's nothing I can do about it. So it's a yearly thing. We've been doing this now for 10 years, actually. It happens usually around October to December. So I work closely with the HR director, and this is something we've been doing for some time. So it's very interesting as well. This one is actually my show-off page. I've done a lot of research, of course. On my own, I've got almost $3.5 million worth of research grants to date. In 2015, I was National Outstanding Researcher. So if some of you are doing research, might be interesting later on. Finalist for National Outstanding Educator. This is by Ministry of Higher Education, of course. And also National Outstanding Social Enterprise Award is for the Joy Factory. Right? We submitted that one and we did a presentation and everything. So we were finalists in 2021 as well. So that was interesting. Some other things like just to let you know that we have some Malaysian, as local, as regional, as well as international experience. So I wrote the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report. This report covered, I think, about 77 countries across the globe, and it is the largest entrepreneurship study in the world. So it's quite interesting. This is in 2020. In 2012, I've been a board member there for about 10 years, until just before COVID. And then the Asian Regional Entrepreneurship Report, the first one to be written by me and my team for 2 years, 2015 and 2016 as well. Right? The only ASEAN. I put some links here. Some of you might be interested. This is always important to everybody because it's about how businesses run, how we measure stuff, things like that. And for the rest of you, it's also useful if you want to fall asleep, you read it, should fall asleep. All right. So coming back to class house rules, because we have a very large class, I told you there's 2,000 people in this chat room. we got to have some house rules. Otherwise, it's hard to manage, right? So the class house rules are very simple. One is there's only one voice. One voice, that is my voice. All of you are minions. Do you know that? That's right. You all are minions. Some of you got one eye, some of you got two. So one voice. But in line with that, we also want equal voice. Equal voice meaning we want everyone to be able to have a chance to say something. So, but if the class is very large, we try to manage it and then give everybody a chance, you know. Otherwise, it's just one person speaking, then, you know, I don't know, the others may feel sidelined, or, you know, if they will have something to say, we want to let everyone have a chance. Be present, right? Make sure your camera and mic is on. Not so much your mic, only when you're speaking. Otherwise, sometimes you get some feedback, technical feedback. But otherwise, if you can, that'd be good. Make sure I don't know, make sure your phone is switched off, or any kind of external noise or interruption, because your friends. Make sure the mic, especially because sometimes some people forget, then the mic is on, right? And then in the background, the grandmother is asking them, do you want coffee? Not good. Timekeeping, make sure you try to come on time, right, if you can. Timekeeping also mostly relates to submission of your assignments and so on. And it becomes very important. Later on, you will see, I'll explain to you why timekeeping is important as well. Let me see, what else is there? Can you just do this presentation? Yeah, I can. UROX. Is everybody familiar with UROX?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
Prof.
hello. But what does it stand for? UROX is an acronym, right? What does it stand for?
Uniraza Online Experience.
I say, Sai, again, you got it wrong, Sai. It's wrong. It is your
Yeah.
now you know. Now you know.
I'm sorry, Prof.
Doctor.
I just
Tu dia.
Problem B.
But you don't go hey, you don't go and tell management, I mesti kena marah. Don't go and this is just for us only.
no, Prof. This is between all of us.
Good.
What's here stays here.
Good. So anyway, the point is, you know, on UROX, not only for my class, for other classes, make sure you put your picture on. You know, there's an icon there. Put your picture, because people then recognize you. Who is Ashraf? And, you know, it puts a face, because nama Ashraf maybe got many, you know, right? Not side also got many. So the lecturer cannot identify. So it helps a lot. And especially in our class, because there's marks for participation. And I cannot remember the names. There's no way. There's too many. There's your class, there's other classes besides that. So you can imagine, right? It's a lot. The other thing is always go back to UROX. UROX is our meeting place, our main thing, you know, our platform, as it were. Respond in UROX if you have to. Your assignments are there. Everything is there. Your notes are there. You must go back to and look at UROX. Surprisingly, UROX also measures whether or not you are accessing it, you know. So let's say if I click on Ashraf, I can see how much time he spent on UROX or not. So if you don't spend time, you will not be in touch, because the only way you can get in touch with me and the subject matter itself is through UROX, right? So it's a very, actually, if you use it wisely, it helps you a lot, right? Makes it easy, like everything in one place. Assignments on time is critical. You know, later I'll explain to you why. Because if you submit your assignment late, you see what I do with my students, all my students always do well. And it's not some luck, you know, it's not luck. It's because we plan. Meaning to say that if you submit your assignment on time, see, I have a fixed time for everything, you know. So when the date for the assignment is due, and you'll notice that you get your marks very quickly. Once your assignment comes in, the next day I've already allocated to mark your paper. So I'm marking your paper. Now, let's say Ashraf's paper, for example, got some problem, some issue. No problem. I will make sure you submit in Word, right? Then I will make some comments. I'll send it back to him. Then I say, Ashraf, okay, I give you the next 5 days. You respond to me. You just fix those areas and send it back to me. So then So even though Ashraf's marks are getting very low, especially if it's like out of 50 and you're getting 25, which is too low, then he can fix it and can send it back to me, and then we can mark it again. So the chances of him doing well is very high. But if the deadline is due, do you submit after 1 week? 1 week, I'm already doing other things. And then on top of that, there's no time to send it back to you and for you to send back. There's no time, which means I will just mark it straight off, which means if the marks is low, it's going to remain low. You understand that? That's the reason. And why do we want our marks on time? Because at the end of the day, we have to upload the marks before the board of examiners look at the marks. We have a deadline, you know. So even if I want to give you a longer time, I can't, because at the end, the deadline is there. So if you understand that, you realize that it's worthwhile doing on time, and that way there's a chance reducing the risk that you face. Access all materials and so on and so on. So that's basically it. So there you go. I put this down. If the class is short, it's okay, you know, but we are pretty a large class. But just to share something, let's ask Syed Mohammed. I'm not sure, should I call you Syed? Is that okay? Your
Okay,
short
bro.
name?
It's fine.
Can
It's fine.
where are you from? Just checking.
Originally, I'm from Johor Bahru.
Oh, Johor Bahru.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I was
What?
born there,
But where are
but
you
now
now?
I'm residing in Bangi.
Oh, in Bangi. It's a
Yeah,
good thing, because if you're in Johor Bahru, I would be very surprised. You'd probably be in Singapore or somewhere, you know, with the exchange rate, what's happening. Uh, uh, yeah. So what
yeah.
industry are you in?
I'm currently in banking for 15 years or so.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's very interesting, because I actually do some consultancy with, even right now, with some of the banks.
yeah.
You want to share which bank or not?
Sure.
Up to you.
I'm in Bank Rakyat.
Bank Rakyat, yeah, that's right. Oh, we've worked a lot with Bank Rakyat previously.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We do have.
Tan Sri Said Jalaluddin was the previous one of the directors, was he? Tan Sri Said.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
presume. Yeah.
yeah. You've never worked under him before? I mean, when you were in Bank Rakyat, wasn't he still the director? He was
I
on.
mean, uh,
Hmm.
the chairman. Do you mean the
Was it
chairman?
chairman? Was he
Um,
Jalaluddin?
I think I'm never crossed that time before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was
because
during the yeah.
this guy is amazing. For those of you who don't know, it's good to know, because Tan Sri Said Jalaluddin, a very interesting guy, and he was also on the board of Uni Razak at one time. He's a amazing guy, because in the sense that he started university when he was with University Pertanian. Those days, University Pertanian was a farmers' university, a small-time university, and under him, it just became one of the premier universities. And then he was with Bank Rakyat. Bank Rakyat was very small at the time, you know. And under his leadership, Bank Rakyat became almost what, 2 billion kind of crazy company, you know, a bank. It grew so much. So he's quite an amazing guy. I went on a trip with him to Bangkok, he, me, and the president of the university. And this guy, he's well read and well traveled, and you can learn so much from him. I'm just mentioning because you mentioned Bang Rakyat. So he's someone, but he's now well retired. He's still on the board of many companies, but he's retired. But he's truly one of the amazingly able persons out there. Good to learn from him. Right, so good. What about just I can't talk to all of you, unfortunately, but how Tan Wee Jin? I'll call you Tan. Is that okay? I think
No, yes, Prof. I'm Tan, Tan Vijay.
okay.
They call me Brian.
Brian,
Yes,
very
hi.
good. I will surely remember that, hopefully.
Thank you, Prof. Yeah, I'm from Subang Jaya.
No, which part of Subang
Currently, I'm
Jaya?
staying at Putra Heights.
Oh, Putra Heights. Okay, good, good.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
I'm from,
I'm in USJ, by the way.
yes, yeah. Oh, USJ, right close.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
close, close. What
Yeah.
industry are you in?
I'm in manufacturing industry, Prof.
Manufacturing, what sort of manufacturing? Manufacturing is so large.
In chemical. I have 23 years of working experience. I've been
Excellent.
working in steel industry and this chemical and also consumer products.
All right, quite a large, very interesting range, isn't it? So when you are
Yes, yes.
doing our subject, you find that there's a lot that you can think about and experience that you can bring to the,
Yes,
to the
Prof.
table.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you. Thank you,
Brad.
Prof. Thank you.
Right. Mr. Bharat Naidu.
Morning, Prof.
Morning, morning. What do we call you?
I'm Bharat. You can call me Bharat.
Bharat, where are you from?
I'm from Penang, currently residing in Bandar Rimbayu.
Bandar Rimbayu is where?
It's adjacent to Kota Kemuning. It's a very new township.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Everybody
so
from Johor, Penang, all coming here. Good lah, y'all. Raise the
yeah,
prices and everything. Good.
and
What industry are you in?
I'm in healthcare, the Prof.
Okay, excellent.
We are
Excellent.
doing
Okay.
physio and rehab.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, very interesting. Then you must drop your contact to me lah. Who knows?
exactly. I saw the Joy Factory and I
people.
thought of talking to you about it.
Sure, sure, sure. Be happy to recommend. A lot of you'd be surprised how much I have worked with my students, in terms of this recommendation and networking,
Right.
even now, just yesterday or the day before, also with a lot of my students. Sometimes because we are involved in many things, then suddenly you say, hey, my student doing. We always give priority to the student.
Right.
I even bought my car through my student, by the
Wow,
way.
nice.
So, and very good, the students are very good. Students are very helpful, very polite, and we trust them, and they really deliver. So I'm very happy to deal with all my students because I like to know what they are doing.
Yes, of course. Besides this being an MBA class, it's also a fantastic opportunity to network, Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I totally agree. That's always
correct.
going to be very helpful. Yeah, thank you. And so going on to Khalifa, I notice. Khalifa, we'll call you Khalifa, right?
Yes, Prof. Good
And
morning.
where are you from? Morning.
My name is Khalifa. So I'm from Kuala Pilah Negeri Sembilan, but I'm staying in Semenye.
Of course, yeah. I'm surprised it's not Putrajaya, but that's okay. You're getting close. Hey, Semenye is nice, It's
Semenye is a very nice town.
I heard you got oxygen there, so not bad. I mean, the air is much better.
Not oxygen here nearby. I have Broga Hills.
Oh, Broga. Have you climbed Broga?
Haven't yet, sir.
What lah? People here in USD have gone and climbed Broga because we got nothing else to do, but we did. It's challenging though. It's nice. It's a nice view up there. So, what industry are you in?
I have a 15 years experience in automotive industry after sales. Currently,
After sales. All right. I just tell you, I don't need another car. I can't afford it. So
I will be under Lexus Service Center currently.
I definitely can't afford it.
I think you may be light on the vehicle. So
I'm what?
you'll be light on the vehicle if you test drive the car.
If I test drive it, I tell you what, see lah, we'll check when side is free. Side join me, then I think he's likely person. He works in a bank got a lot of money. So we'll both go, but side will buy the car. Aside.
Yeah, Prof. Can I can bring along some acquaintances also, like
Yeah.
my friend Hairi. He sends his regard to you.
Highly, yeah.
Yeah.
Highly.
We are very close. Yeah, since childhood. So he sends his
Childhood,
regards to you. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's the same to him as well from me. Surin Kaur.
Morning, Prof. Morning,
Morning.
everyone.
Mm.
So you can address me by Surin, and I have a good 19 years experience working with the bank as well, HSBC.
HSBC.
Yeah.
I'm working with your chief HR officer, who ex HR officer, chief HR officer, HR of your the head of HSBC HR, who used to be there, but she's somewhere else now. I'm working with her as well, just to let you know. So I'll put in a good word for you, don't worry.
Nice.
Surin.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Whereabouts, which location, Surin?
It's in Lingkaran TRX, Menara IQ.
Oh my God, everything there is so expensive, you know.
Tell
Have
me
you all been
about
to
it.
TRX? TRX,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a great place for exercise though, because you got to walk
Yeah.
quite far. But in banking, what area of banking? But banking is so large. I mean, within the bank. I mean, what
Okay.
specific? Is it wholesale, retail? What sort of?
I've done a couple of roles. I've done learning and development. I've
Mm.
also done training. I've also done contact center operations and currently leading operations of about 600 headcounts.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a lot, man. That's a lot. That's more than my class, by the way. So managing people is not easy. Yeah.
Indeed.
I asked you about that simply because we used to sell software services under Anderson Consulting. We were selling software services to banks at the time. So it's quite interesting. Good. A diversity of roles that you have will really help you a lot, both in terms of this class as well as your CV, your experience. Great exposure. Excellent. Right. So let's look at Rosalia. Sorry, I'm just picking whoever's there.
Hi,
Rosalia.
Prof. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah.
You can call me Rose.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm from Selayang.
Okay.
Okay, currently I'm in food industry.
Food. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just I've been in this industry for 8 years. I feel
Okay.
like a baby here.
Still new,
Already 25 years, 19 years. I'm only 8 years.
Still new, All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Some places people stay a long time, and some people move around a lot. So that's interesting. Thank you for that, Rosalia. Let me
Thank you,
see.
Prof.
I was just wondering, Ruben, how about Ruben?
Yes, good morning, Prof.
Morning, Ruben.
I'm from PJ.
Okay.
I'm in the healthcare industry.
And you're originally from PJ as well, or?
I'm originally from Ipoh, actually.
I knew it. I just knew it. Everyone, I always like to ask people originally where they're from, because I find it, you know why this, actually I'm jealous, to be honest, I'm jealous. The reason is because I'm from KL, meaning from here. I've not been anywhere. And my wife is also from here. So we got no kampong, very sad. It's a very sad situation. So everybody said, oh, balik kampong lah. But we got nowhere to go back. We're stuck. We're here. So actually it's jealousy lah. So when I hear your Ipoh lah, they'll go back here, there and there. So nice, so good. But never mind, what to do. All right, I think we're good for that one. As we go along, maybe we'll try and see what we can do. I would like to
Prof,
get, yeah, sorry.
I think we have a Kampung Baru.
Kampong Baru.
Yeah.
Also kampung lah, Prof.
That's a good one, Leo. That's a good one.
That's a bluff one lah. Let's not call. Name only is Kampong, but it's not. It's right smack in the middle of wherever you know. You don't want to call that your Kampong lah. That's not real. People, Batang Kali, that's a Kampong. Even Rawang, okay lah, we can accept. But it has to be somewhere further. Surely there must be at least a 50-kilometer radius to be called a Kampong right now. It's too nearby. It's like me in USJ saying, "Oh, my kampong is is what is this? The place where Brian was staying. Was it Brian or someone? Brian, were you staying in? Brian,
Sorry, Prof.
where were you staying just now? You said.
Putra Heights,
It's like me in USJ saying that my kampong is Putra Heights. God, doesn't make any
No.
sense, guys. Come on, this is not right. And Lingeswaran, by the way, where are you from?
I'm staying in section 7 Shah Alam.
And your kampong is where? Putra Heights also.
Oh, Klang. My mom in Klang.
Hello. Klang is not a considered your kampong. You are just here.
Royal City.
Of course. They like Klang.
Sorry,
Guys,
Prof.
for the
Sorry,
rest of you here who are not.
Originally, I'm from Muar Johor lah. Yeah.
Oh, we know that for sure. All of you are migrants and immigrants. Call it.
Right.
For those of you who are not familiar with Klang, beware. Right, it's one of the most notorious places. Apparently a survey done recently that the Klang, the prisons are percentage-wise, not to say we're saying anything against Lingeswaran, but the percentage wise of convicts apparently, unfortunately, leaning towards Klang side lah. Klang, Kappa, Meru. So some of you are not familiar. I'm just linguists, don't mind. I just explain to them so that they are aware. So when they go there, they can be a bit more cautious. If you are entering anywhere written Klang, K-L-A-N-G, you should be careful. Hold on to your bags. Hold on to your car. Hold on to your family members. Klang, okay, let me just put it this way. I don't want to say anything bad. It's just that it has a reputation. I won't say what kind of reputation. Some reputation, good or bad, you decide. Not sure, just look in the newspaper.
Prof, I'm crying.
Okay, never mind. Now, guys, whenever I start talking about other things, you all must stop me and say, sir, we are here for the class only. So, okay, what I'm going to do now, the first thing, we've done the introduction part. I can't go through everyone, but I want to now, you see, here's the trick, guys. Here's the trick. The trick is to always look at the exam question first. So some students ask me, sir, how come we are starting the class and we look at the questions first? See, whatever you do, you must know what your hurdles are. What is the standard? What you must achieve. Then you study. It's known as, guys, you're going to learn a new word. And by the way, teaching of new words, I don't charge anything extra. No charge from the university. Just my good deed. The word is effectual. Can I write somewhere? No, effectual. There's no writing pad on this thing.
There is the whiteboard function, bro.
There is let me check. Whiteboard. Looking, remote, annotate.
Bottom right, Prof. Bottom right.
Oh, bottom.
Yeah,
Okay.
next to notes, there's a whiteboard.
I've got annotate. I thought annotate was it. Annotate means can I write? Can lah there? Can you see? But it's horrible. This is hard. Anyway, you can see, right? Y'all don't laugh. I'm teaching you a new important word today. And don't just look at me. You all also write it down. A-L. Effectual. Heard this word before? You see, you guys, one of the key things I want to remind you is that oftentimes in class, I will use words that you have never heard before. The reason I do that is so that you think I'm clever. It works, you know. Otherwise, you'll say, what is this professor, no doctor nonsense, or using all the words. If I use difficult words, preferably if it's hard to spell, students will think that, yeah, must be pretty good. I hope it's working, not sure. Okay, anyway, the point is effectual. Effectual means is actually quite the opposite of effective. This word effectual actually comes from a journal written by this lady who came up with this word. Her name is Sarah Saraswati. She's with the Kellogg University in the US. So Saraswati, who looks like my old auntie, you know what she did? She she talked about that the better way for us to operate is to be effectual, meaning to say, look at the end first and then work backwards. Being effective means you find out what's the best way. So if you come to my class and we want to be effective, what we will do, we will learn chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, do everything, and then come and look at the question. That's being effective, right? So being effectual means you look at the question first and see what needs to be done, and then you study accordingly. So you need to understand this, because otherwise you will be wondering like, why are we doing this particular chapter? Why are we doing this area and that area? And it doesn't fit in with the textbook, right? Textbook, especially textbooks on strategic management, guys, if you have ever seen one, they are very thick and very heavy, right? So if you have a strategic management textbook, here's what you should do, right? Very thick. So sometimes at home, you've got a coffee table, right? And the coffee table is saying it a bit. You take the textbook and put underneath to keep your table straight, so you don't spill your coffee. That's the best use of a textbook. I know some of you thinking, oh no. So, don't learn. Very difficult. That's not the way to use a textbook, right? If you have one. You shouldn't have one. If you have one, something's wrong, but never mind. If you have it, right, you always go to the back, look for the keywords and read the key areas. That's it, right? So effectual is the way we are operating, right? So having said that, let's try and look at a question. I should stop sharing. Yeah, I should stop sharing. Okay, guys, can you see the question? Everyone can see the question, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Prof. Prof.
Yes,
Have you read the question before this?
Yes, Prof.
I tell you, this is a class that's amazing, an exemplary class. Because most of my classes, nobody's read the assignment question. So well done. You're off to a good start. Okay, the first assignment, 40% is a lot of marks, guys. So you got to listen carefully. Here's the thing. Strategic management, by the way, just to check with you all, are you all in the last semester of your class already or what?
Fresh
Yes, Prof. So second day of class.
first semester, Prof.
First semester.
First semester, second day of class. Yeah, second day of class.
First semester. Do you know that in universities across the world, strategic management is what is known as a capstone course. Capstone means it's at the end, the last course, because strategic management brings together marketing, operations, economics, brings in everything, right? So ideally, by right, you should be in the end of your course, the last semester or the last subject, actually. So some of you, I heard you mentioning first semester. So that's a bit.
Yes, first semester.
First semester, Prof.
So
First
it's
semester, bro.
Yeah, so it's going to be a giant leap for you. So please, but don't worry, I will work with you. Don't worry. I've been known to perform miracles. So there you go. You're in luck. So, okay, coming back to the assignment. Assignment 1, 40%. Okay, the objectives are there, blah, blah, blah. This course, I've designed it in such a way, because otherwise some courses you'll have too many assignments. I've designed it in such a way that, and it's been reduced to just 2 key assignments. The first one is this one, which is 40%. And you will see here, let me just make that a little bit. It's about the airline industry, guys. Policy formulation and implementation. So this is the assignment. Let me just read this for you, okay? So you're clear. You must complete a 3-part hand-in analysis of the airline industry in your country or Malaysia. So if you happen to be, sometimes they're foreign students in our class, right? So they will talk about their own country. But if you're in Malaysia, you must talk about Malaysian one. So you may choose any local airline. So basically, guys, the analysis is of a local airline. You must research the industry and the company you select, right? You can use Google, you can use whatever means that you want. Your analysis should be prepared from the point of view of a consultant. So you are all consultants for this particular airline that you choose. So what does that mean? That means you might choose Air Asia, you might choose MAS, you might choose Malindo.
Fly.
Maybe, yeah.
Can we choose airlines that have folded, Prof?
No, no, because it'll be too late to give recommendation. Later, you have to give recommendation to the CEO, and the CEO has already gone and joined a different industry, and I think it's not useful.
Prof, does that include cargo airlines as well?
Yes, you can include cargo as well. Yeah, no issues. Right. Cargo, there was one under Berjaya, but is that what cargo is there? Is there?
I'm
There
looking at a few options here. World Cargo Airlines, Mars Cargo.
Mars Cargo, yes. World Cargo Airlines, I'm not sure about that one. Whether is it a local one? If it's local, then
yes. Local.
Okay. Right.
I think we also had Transmart.
Transmart's still around.
I think they changed to Raya Airways.
Is it?
Then I'm not sure whether it's still there.
Transmart, I remember there were some issues and then they, yeah, but never mind. As long as it's local and it's still existing, they're good questions that you are asking. So you are the consultant. To advise the CEO of this particular company, right, that you choose. Each part of the analysis should be, this is the how you should organize it. The main body of your report should summarize and integrate the material contained. Yeah, so that means you will have the answer plus you can extra material and all you can put in the appendices because later you'll see there's a word count, right? Okay, so ideally, of course, we want you to understand the airline industry in this case. The important thing to remember, guys, if I may share with you early on, is the airline industry is a hyper-competitive industry, hyper-competitive, right? Now, why airlines are competing amongst themselves, that's one. Plus, it's so subject to changes, you know. If let's say suddenly got COVID, you know, the airlines, what happens to the airlines, right? Now, suddenly there's a war, planes can't fly. So many difficult challenges, and the risk is very high because the investments in airlines, planes, and all cost a lot of money, right? Pilots, workers on board. Yeah. So this is what you want to think about. The other thing, before I forget, is to let you know. Please make a note. Every time I say something, you must make a note. If not, I'm telling you, you should forget. And that is this. When later on, when we look at competition in the airline industry, some of you are thinking, okay, airline industry in Malaysia. But let's say we look at MAS, for example, the competition is coming from local airlines. It's also coming from other airlines because other airlines will stop over in Malaysia, isn't it? Emirates, Singapore. On the way out, Emirates, for example, going to Dubai, from Jakarta will stop in KL, pick up passengers and go to Dubai. So when we say competition, actually the whole world is your competition. Whatever airline is coming through the country. Just keep that in mind. So students have a tendency to just talk about the local industry and when you talk about competition. So actually when you analyze the industry, you're looking at the global angle as well, as long as those airlines come into our airspace and use our airports. Right. So so you want to now look at what you need to do for the assignment there. So what I've done for you guys to make sure that you stay on track is I've broken up the assignments into different parts. So by answering each part, you are coming up with an essay for the whole answer, which means you can't go wrong. Right now, if I give you a 2 or 3 sentence question, some of you will talk about one thing or miss out on another. But by breaking it up, I make sure I'm corralling you. I'm making sure that you stay on course and don't go off at a tangent. You see what I'm saying? Which is one of the reasons why many of my students do well, because they just follow the structure, right, or the template. So the first one is industry analysis, right? So part 1, the assignment looks at the airline's industry structure, industry's profit potential, now and in the future, right? So the specific questions you need to address: what does the industry structure look like, right? The airline industry. What are the strategic groups in the industry? So this is an industry-wide analysis, right? What do you mean by strategic groups? Because some are premium airlines, they're all in this group. Some are economy, right? Some are very cheap airlines. So where are they, right? Where do they stand? Given this, what is the overall attractiveness of the industry for each strategic group that you identify, right? When we say attractiveness, we're talking about market. Is there sufficient market for this, for them to operate? What are the driving forces to change the industry? Macro environmental analysis. What does that mean, right? It generally refers to the different analysis that one can do to understand the macro environment, right? And I'm sure many of you are aware of things like the Porter's 5 forces, for example, some of the instruments. We'll talk about that as well. Okay, what you can do. Okay, how are those changes likely to affect the industry and the grouping, right? If the driving forces play out as anticipated, how will that affect attractiveness of the industry and its groups, right? Well, right. So these are things you want to think about, and by addressing these key questions and looking for data, and including that and using that as analysis, you'll basically be answering the first part, which is industry analysis. Okay, then because you will find one of the things you will find is you get a lot of data on something, right? Because Many of these companies, they are listed companies, they have their data online and everything, and you will not have enough space. So you need to put it in your appendices. And also your analysis itself, because it's strategic management, it involves a lot of things. That again, you might have to put in your appendices. So to help you, I actually tell you, right, references, you know, you need references, right? I actually tell you what you need to put in your appendices as well. The first one is you need to do a Porter's 5 forces analysis for sure, environment, right? Then you need to do a strategic group map. Then you need to look at all the other things in the industry, the regulatory framework, right? The economic activity, the technology, and so on, right? Now, new planes coming on board, new changes that's happening. For example, currently, if you know, as of the last couple of weeks, as of this month, I think, Boeing had a problem with one of their suppliers, Spirit, right? Who was supplying them the fuselage or something. They had some problems, isn't it? Because they had outsourced it. And then Boeing is saying that, oh no, they are not good enough or something like that. But actually it's Boeing's management problem, to be honest, right? Now, you can outsource, but it's still your responsibility. Right? Now, if you're an airline and you outsource food and the food is lousy, can you turn around and say, oh yeah, but the food is lousy? It's not us, it's them. You can't say that, right? Right, so it's a management issue. So these are some of the things you want to think about. You know, global issues and trends, for example, sustainability, greenhouse effect, you know, and so on. Right, many countries are looking at that. Right, sustainability. So that's one. So that's for part one. So if you follow part one and you put all those appendices in, and then you put those graphs in, it's going to look really good. Right. So then you go on to part two, because this is part of the assignment as well. And this one just now is external, now it's internal analysis, right? You want to analyze the firm. Again, I won't go through this, but these are questions you're asking. What strategy and so on, right? Now, there's a lot of typologies that you can use, a lot of methods that you can use to analyze something. In this assignment, I'm asking you to look at the Hambrick-Fredrickson typology. I will probably be providing you, if I haven't already, I think I'll give you a video on this one that explains how Hambrick works. Very simple, very straightforward. There are many out there, but to make it more useful for you, I'm just choosing one. You use this one, right? And then you use it to explain. Very simple, and we will do that as well. And what are the business level strategies? What are the corporate level strategies? How well does it work? Again, all of these questions you want to look at. All of this relate to strategic management. Okay, so you find that strategic management calls upon many disciplines to come in together, and that's why it's strategy. Okay, so that's the one. Then the appendices for part two also I've included here. Right, so we go into your answer. How will you do you will maybe draw the Fredrickson typology, for example, the financial analysis, if you've got some financial data that you have, internal analysis, what you might do, and using the VRIS, right, which is to determine sustainable competitive advantage, right? It is valuable, rare, inimitable, and you know, something that cannot be copied, for example, or you know, replaceable, right? So again, this is Barney, and we'll talk about it again. So it's very interesting and very good learning, actually, to be honest, and something that you can use now. And a lot of this, as you learn tomorrow when you do your PhD, you can use it as well. So it's going to be very interesting, guys. So the instructions here, how you should write it. You should have Times New Roman 12, 1.5 spacing. And don't forget to use paragraphs. You'll be surprised. Some students actually write the answer without a paragraph. If you tried reading something without a paragraph, right, you become a criminal when you read something like that, because you want to squeeze the next. It's hard, you know, and there are a lot of assignments for us to read. So you've got to be very kind to your marker, basically me. So, all right. Otherwise, it's hard to read, trust me. Due date, ini sangat penting. 8th of April. 8th of April, okay? Non-negotiable. The only reason I can give you an extension, if you come and say, sir, I was analyzing this airline, now it's shut down last week. What do I do? You know what? I'll tell you. I say you are the jinx, right? You analyze it and then Daya, yes or not? They are the jinx, Daya. I mean, honestly. Okay,
Absolutely.
sangat penting semua dengar, jangan lupa the word count not exceed 3,500 words. Okay, don't try to be smarty pants and put 3,502. No, not acceptable. And I expect to see the word count written down there. Not exceed. One also cannot, right? Not exceed. And note, the interesting thing about this, there's no minimum word count. There's no minimum. What does that mean? Koshala, you know what that means? That means Koshala can submit an assignment with just 3 words. I don't know. Can. It's acceptable. Because there's no minimum. It's acceptable. You see how convenient it is for you. Now, you're probably wondering why, maybe some other people, those days when we were doing assignments, 5,000 words, 6,000 words. Wow. But now nobody's interested. Say what you have to say, get to the point. That's it. If you have been working wherever you've been working and you deal with your CEO, your MD, your chairman, that's it. Right? You have a meeting, keep it short. Right? Long meetings are meant for the dinosaurs. No more long meetings. Come to the point, fix the problem, move on. Same here.
Couldn't agree more, Prof.
Yeah. It's, you know why? Just to share with you, PhDs those days used to be 120, 130,000 words requirement. And over the years, process of evolution, it went down to 100 to 80, right? 80,000, now maybe about 70,000 words. My professor in Australia got his PhD with 30,000 words. Yeah. People got no time, right? And I used to work for the Sinarmas group under the CEO, which is a guy from Suresh Kilam. He's from India. Very busy man, handling 54 offices across the globe, right? So people like that, when you submit something to them, it has to be very short. If you look at the Idris Jala, do you all know Idris Jala? Since we're talking about airline, let me share this with you. Do you all know Idris Jala or not? Any Sabahans here? Sabah?
Yeah.
I'm based in Sabah.
Who is this? Who's speaking? I can't see.
Sorry, this is Daya Leroy. You can call me Leroy.
Yeah. You're based in Sabah. Oh, I love Sabah. KK, is it?
Yes, I'm Kota Marudu.
But originally from?
Ipoh.
There you go. Right. But Sabah is nice. Sabah is beautiful.
Yes. I'm in the ITP.
Did you climb Mount Kinabalu or not?
Yes, twice.
Oh, show off. Such a show off, I ask him where he climbed. All the Sabahan people are, he's getting like Sabahan disease, You ask the Sabahan guy, hey, have you climbed Mount Kinabalu? Yeah, 6-7 times. Like, they went for a walk, they talk like that, I climbed it once. It's bloody hard.
Yes, it is.
I've never been. I never climbed Kinabalu. I'm a Sabahan, but I never climbed Kinabalu.
You're my friend lah.
Yeah.
People like Daya all Sabahans but Sabahans really, they have climbed, many of them have climbed Kinabalu many times. And many of them say it's easy. I'm telling you, I don't know maybe they are fit For me, don't you find it hard? It's kind of challenging, isn't it? I mean, 6 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's challenging But
the first time I climbed, I said I'm never going to climb again. But it's a beautiful place.
Beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful, guys. Everybody here. KK When I went, Daya, when I went, half or 3/4 of the people were French and British climbers, Local people, very few. From West, from East Malaysia is even worse. People don't, you all from Perak and all these places, you all don't go to Sabah. What's the matter with you guys? You guys need to get that exposure. Beautiful. Sabah is beautiful. The people are excellent. If I ever migrate, I'm telling you, if I ever migrate, I'm migrating to Sabah. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to migrate to Sabah. preferably stay in KK, right near the beach.
The only issue we have here is the internet connection is a bit poor. That's the only thing.
What connection? Dana Roy. Daya doesn't know what he's talking about. I landed in KK. My four-wheel drive was waiting for me. I took a drive all the way to the tip of Borneo, right all the way there. Take a night. Very nice. What connection? No problem. We just drove. It's beautiful. Sabah is a beautiful place. Sarawak as well. So you have a chance, guys. Do go. I told you before, if I talk about something else, please bring me back here. We're going to discuss Idris Jala. Yeah, Idris Jala, very important.
Idris Jala is Sarawakian.
Sarawakian, yeah, Sarawakian indeed. Anyway, the reason why I mentioned this is when Idris Jala was put in charge of MAS, doing the turnaround plan, guys, turnaround of Idris, the plan, he submitted his plan to turn around MAS to Khazanah was it PNB, because it came under them. He had to submit a plan, basically saying, hey, what's your plan to turn around? It's a bit like what you all are doing now, guys, in your assignment, but this one real life. So Idris Jala was brought in, urgent, right, to turn around MAS, submit your plan. Here's the thing, Idris Jala's plan to Khazanah at the time was half a page, one graph. How cool is that? Half a page, which comprised of one chart, like that, half a page, which said how his turnaround was going to be. Why? Because people got no time. People got no time, right? I did a study when I was in Sinarmas, right? We went down, we saw the late chief minister, went to his house, which was like a palace, of course, in Sarawak, in Kuching. And we were going to set up a brown grades paper manufacturing plant. And I was the sucker who was asked to go and do the work to check and see feasibility study. Site feasibility means work Nobody else. I got suckered in So I was think picking. You remember Wisma think picking? I never bluff you one. If you know your background and you know your economics and your marketing, you will know. I never bullshit one. Think picking. Wisma think picking. The guy who went bankrupt 11 times and came out 11 times. You can beat him. Forget it. The bugger in his car park got 3 Rolls Royce, all the same one, but all different color. One of them is pink, but never mind. Separate story for another day. The point is, now I'm doing the recce and I'm doing the work. Meanwhile, 3 days later, my CEO comes down, my chairman comes down. My chairman is Pak Wijaya of Sinarmas. Hello, Sinarmas, my paper division, just that section, just the paper section, turnover $7 billion per year, You don't mess with the Indonesians, I'm telling you guys. When you play football, let them win. They are bigger than us. Your country, what, 30 million? 30 million are the other 3 million, all foreigners, we don't count. Jakarta alone is 28 million. What you want to talk? Jakarta is 28 million. Your whole country, 30 million is what? Isn't it? But don't forget, that is the daytime population of Jakarta. At night, the population of Jakarta goes down to 14 million. Right? People go back home. Then the next day they come back. That's why Jakarta got a lot of macet. For those of you who have been to Indonesia and understand the Indonesian lingo, you must, because they are our neighbors. Be nice to them. Because if they sneeze, you're going to catch a cold. Right? If they burn something, you're going to get haze. It's been some time since we had haze. I kind of miss it, but never mind. Coming back. So these guys are flying down in 3 days. I've got 3 days in which to take a decision and give up the facts and figures as to whether we can run a plant out here in in Sarawak. And note, I have never been to Sarawak. I don't know anything. So think Peking organizes. The man is everywhere. So he puts a car, gives me a driver, go around and check the whole thing. And then we have a meeting. So my chairman flies down, CEO, all in their private jets, come down, meet with, is it called Datuk Patinggi? At the time, his name, what is his title? The Chief Minister, Datuk, anyone from Kuching? You know, type. The one who just passed away. Huh?
Yes, sir. Pehin Sri.
Apa tu?
Pehin Sri.
Okay, something like that. Anyway, Chief Minister lah, very important guy, isn't it? Very important, very powerful guy. So we want to close that deal besides other things lah. So they come to see him. But something I want to share with you guys. Guys, gotta listen. Strategy. Listen to this one. We enter his place. We're having lunch lah. We're staying at the Hilton, and he provides a fleet of cars lah. That means there's no such thing as Brian, there's no such thing as like, hello, we got this car to come and pick you up. No such thing. There's a fleet of cars out there. You enter any car, drive you to the Chief Minister's house. How cool is that? Can only happen in Kuching. So we go there and we enter the hall. And of course, we are business. We are trying to create a good impression. And in his house, the hall, there's a piano, and somebody's playing the piano, live piano, everything, and all the important people are there, blah, blah, blah. And of course, we're saying hello. Then my Chief Minister is there. And the Chief Minister is also with his, I think, 3-year-old grandson. Not sure which son, but a small little boy. And then my chairman comes in. My chairman is 80 years old, right? He comes in with his first wife. I say first wife because he got 8 wives. Okay. Company is big, so is he. So once you say, Daya, come on, Daya, you listen carefully. No, I'm here to teach you something which is real, better than the textbook.
I can see.
You can see that, good. So he comes in, but guys, strategy, you want to create an impression. You want to get along with these people, meeting them for the first time. In a big crowd there, you know what my chairman does? The first thing he enters, he goes straight to the little boy, the 3-year-old boy. And he talks to the little boy. Immediately, the Chief Minister's attention is on my boss. Why? Because the grandson is important to him. Anybody, isn't it? My chairman never go and talk to all the general manager, director. No. He talked to the small little boy, and immediately he and Type are now talking like friends because they're talking about the boy. Because for somebody like that Chief Minister, the most important thing to him is these people, the little boy, his grandson. Other things are not so important. He doesn't need the deal. This is important. And so my chairman does that, and then they get along very well. How cool is that? Brian, is that strategy, Brian?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, guys. So when we talk about strategic management, I want you to understand it's not just textbooks, it's not just instruments, it's human relations, isn't it? It's human relations, how you get along. And let's say, for example, me and Khalifa. Yeah. We've got all the things and we want to have a business deal. But Khalifa, if she doesn't like me that much, how? Isn't it? People got to like you. You got to find that commonality, right? That commonality. That is why every time before you have a meeting, usually you enter a meeting or boardroom, do people talk about business straight away? No. They talk about the weather. They try to find the commonality. They talk about, hey, do you play golf? Where do you stay? Right? What kind of food you like to eat? In this area, what is different about this area. People talk about things like that before they come to because they're trying to find a commonality, right? Because it's psychology and that's strategy.
Yes, Prof, agree. Sorry,
Yeah.
Prof, just now my mic was off.
It's
You
okay, no
pardon me,
problem.
Prof.
No problem, no problem.
Communication and integration is very important. Yeah.
Perfect. Brian, you're absolutely right.
And
Communication.
start a very good relationship.
Now,
Generate
when I've shared this with you, if you make a note of it, this will go tomorrow to your recommendation. Later you will see it. When you're writing your answer, communication. Because in this answer, how is Daya going to advise the CEO of an airline? He is not even in the airline industry. I just made him a consultant. How is Daya going to recommend something? Do you think the MD or the CEO of the airline going to listen to Daya? No. He'll probably tell Daya, tell me something I don't know, isn't it? Why? Because the fella may be a qualified pilot. He's worked in the airline industry for 30 years. What can you tell him? So this task is very challenging in that sense. So one of the key things that Daya can say is that communication in any organization, if you've been a consultant, like I have been for 4 years, one of the key things, that big C word, that communication, it's always necessary. And airlines usually are very large organizations with many people. Communications become very important. All right. So that's spiel on that one. So, okay, the other thing, very quickly, guys, I want to share with you is this. Make sure you do your referencing and everything. Okay, unlike other classes, you will notice that on-time assignments, see, people always give you punishment, or like, oh, Khalifa, if you submit late, I will deduct your mark. But when you come to my class, if you submit on time, I give you 1 extra mark. There you go.
That's
1 extra mark.
I've been to other universities previously, Prof. I've never seen this extra award given.
There you go. There you go. Syed has now testified once and for all how amazing this class is going to be. That's right. That is right. You submit on time. I'm not kidding you. I give you 1 extra mark. I will see the date, because Jurox is beautiful, because it will capture the date. So whatever marks you get, I give you 1 extra mark. And trust me, it makes a difference. And if you've got 2 assignments, there's 2 extra marks. 2 extra marks can make a difference between an A+ and an A, or an A and a A-, right? And that affects your CGPA. And we want each of you to get a good CGPA, because it matters. When you look for a job and stuff like that, it matters, right? Some may think, it's not important. It's very important. I'll tell you why. Because if you know people in HR, you will realize that they got no time to go and look at everybody's CV. They use nowadays everything is digitized. So they'll say, oh, the cutoff is 3.2. Cutoff is 3.2. Yeah, many MBA graduates, 3.2. So if yours is like 2.8, 2.9, or 3.1, that's it. You're not even being considered. You understand, right? And all of you are so good looking. If they looked at you, they'd sure employ you. But they don't even get a chance to look at you. How sad. Khalifa, very sad. You'll be very, very sad. And we don't want anyone to be sad. Sadness is a non-acceptable word. Okay, so guys, so this is your assignment 140%. Very, very sangat penting. So please make sure you follow everything.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Just want to clarify on the reference. What's the minimum reference or citation that you need?
No, there's no minimum. You just apply what you need to use. That's it. Doesn't make sense to have a minimum or maximum on references. There's no such thing. Only thing is, try not to use old referencing, right? Try to use something over 2015 and above. Yeah. So that's all. Sorry, yeah?
Prof, sorry, Prof. I want to ask
Yeah.
one question, Prof.
Sure.
The word count, is it inclusive of the reference or is it exclusive of the
No,
reference?
word count doesn't include reference and appendices.
Okay. No.
Okay. So those are all your questions are good questions, guys. So please feel free. So now I go to the second one, the assignment. Now you notice, guys, to make your life easy, what I have done is your second assignment is actually linked to your first assignment. And how do I know that? Because there's this sign that says here, this assignment is an extension of your analysis and discussions. That's how we know that. Okay. So when you do assignment number 2 is actually the recommendations. So it's a follow on from your first assignment. Okay, recommendation, right? Part 3 of assignment 6 to bring together the first 2 parts, make your recommendations to the airline CEO, right? And these are the questions, okay? And then I also give you again your appendices for part 3 again, right? What you should include in your part 3, right? When you do your recommendation. So when you read this, you'll know what to do as well, right? When you write your assignment, guys, for part 1 and part 2, you can put part 1, no problem, but don't try to answer each question by each question. The question actually is a guide to you. You can put a heading, yes, put a heading and then answer it, but don't put the question itself, because the question is supposed to aid you, right? So that's the right way to go about it. Again, here also do not exceed 2,500 words, same thing, okay? And so on and so on and so on. Again, you get an extra mark if you submit on time, and I'm sure you will. Okay, so that's assignment number 2, simple. And again, of course, just to draw your attention, there is a deadline as well, 15. Okay, so that one's done. Now we've done 1 and 2. Now the third bit that I need to share with you is this part. I do apologize that today's class is a bit long. I can find my cursor.
Actually,
Was that?
it's interesting, not long.
Okay, so Khalifa is getting 1 extra mark, guys, because she's saying all the right things. I'm very happy about that. You do realize if you say...
No, I'm not bothered you, bro. This is...
No, of course not.
We have a several class from our old lecturer. So this is a very interesting class that at least we know that what we need to do. We have the background and everything. So it's a very good class actually.
Yeah, it'll be good learning. Do try and attend all the classes if you can help it. But by the way, whenever
I counter Khalifa, Prof? I want to counter Khalifa.
You want to conquer, so you conquer, you get half mark. So
me too.
And by Lingsen, you're late. You're late to the game and you're copying. There's not acceptable. Guys,
sorry, bro. Sorry.
By the way, just to let you know, whenever I give like Khalifa a mark or I give side extra half mark, the mark is taken from one of you guys only. I have no marks to give. Students, yeah. So probably Lingsen, so thank you for that mark. Khalifa will thank you later. So I take from different people again, depending on you say the wrong thing. But more important, guys, I'm hoping that we can share some real life things so that you know it's real, the subject is real, then it makes sense to you. And all of you I love my MBA students because you know why? They got work experience. So when I talk to them about work experiences, they understand. Undergraduates, not so much, a bit tricky. So now I want to just do one part, guys. Won't take very long. Just about, if you can give me your attention for say about 19 minutes and 14 seconds. Can you do that? I just need 19 minutes and 14 seconds of your time, right? So I want you to sit back and relax. You don't have to do anything. Maybe you have a pen, make some notes, maybe at the most, but nothing else. Just as I'm discussing and showing you something, I want you to think about it, right? And that to get you in the right frame of mind for strategic management, right? So this is the introduction. Just one word, strategy. The whole of the next few slides, we're just going to look at just one word, right? A word which before this you maybe thought you understood, okay? Let's think about this. Wait on, hold on. Okay, so the question then we ask is, what is strategy, right? What is strategy? Now, if you look at this picture, what do you see here? What is it? What's happening here?
It's a fighter jet avoiding missiles.
Wow. Okay.
I thought Lima.
You thought what?
It looks like an air show.
Air show. Thank you, lah.
Air show, Lima.
Lima, air show.
It looks like a deployment of flares or as an
evasive measure.
Here comes the over-analysis. Thank you very much, Sumantri. So 4, 5, 6 doesn't matter, whatever air show, it's an air show. Airlines flying in formation. Now, when airlines flying in formation, you notice that they're going very fast, and they have to follow a formation. How do they do that? Is it that when they fly up there, then they decide, hey guys, and then they try to follow each other, or how do they go about it, do you think?
They plan.
They plan, right? They plan beforehand, because if they don't do, the results can be disastrous. Once, if you've seen videos, I'm sure maybe, of unfortunate incidents where the airline, the airplanes accidentally make a mistake, and it's disastrous. The same thing for organizations, right? It's planning ahead. Otherwise, the outcomes can be disastrous. Okay. Now, if you look at this one here, what do you see?
Surfer and a shark.
Shark and a surfer.
But if you were there near here and you saw this, what would happen? How would you feel?
I'm screwed.
You'd be.
The same thing, doctor. I would have been dumbfounded.
Well, that's a fairly reasonable reaction, just dumbfounded. And what would you do?
Not move, or probably just run away, try to escape.
Good luck. You can run on water. Good
No,
luck.
no, escape, sorry.
Escape.
Take plan B.
What's that?
Another plan, take another.
Hazila, good. See, Bharat, Hazila is trying to make you look bad, you know. She got plan A, plan B, plan C. She's got all plans. Good luck.
She needs some marks, doctor.
Try to observe first.
But good luck. Ashraf is observing. Meanwhile, she'll become lunch for the shark.
There's the risk already there.
Yeah, exactly. Too lah, Zila. I don't know lah. Ashraf is taking. The point is, guys, the corporate environment is like this. It's like this. If you think you're a shark, there are bigger sharks out there. When we were running APP last time, and it was a US $7 billion company, one of the key things the son of the founder would always tell us is, if you think you're a shark, there are bigger sharks than us. And they are so big, isn't it? So it's very challenging. The corporate environment is like that, right? It's like that. That's why you will find that many companies don't survive or can't sustain, okay? See, so this is in the back of your mind, you need to know this. Only then, when you study and you look at something, you will have that kind of sense of urgency. That is not just words on paper. It's not just me saying something or your colleague saying something. It means something. The survival of your company, very important. Okay, so this is how we cannot take it so lightly. Okay, so coming back to, sorry for the words here, but in the case, I used this explanation by Johnson and Scholes, right, on corporate strategy. And I like the definition because it seems to be quite complete. It says strategy is the direction and scope of an organization over the long term. This is important, which achieves advantage for the organization through the configuration. Configuration means the organizing of its resources, right, within an environment to meet the markets and to fulfill stakeholders. Because in organizations, it's not so simple, you know. Many of you sometimes have been as a manager or executive, we say, "Apalah, boss lah, ini lah, itulah." But you don't realize if you are the CEO or the MD, you're also responsible to your stakeholders. You can't just do whatever you want. Yeah, your stakeholders have expectations. Your board of directors have expectations, right? So you're operating in that environment. It's very hard. It's very hard. And a lot of times when we comment about the company that we work for, because we are looking in hindsight, benda tu dah terjadi, it already happened, then you say, yeah, my boss no good lah. But if you were there at the time having to make a decision, not so easy, right? So a lot of people who have been in positions of where they have to take decisions on the spot and so on, you will realize that it's tough. It's tough, even though you come from an MBA class, you have all your experience and learning, it's tough. You know why? Because people are made out of physical beings, you know, you're emotional beings. You're not a robot, isn't it? You're not a robot. You are affected. You're affected by all the things that happen around you. So when you go to the office and you have to take an important decision, you are affected by a lot of things. Emotionally also you're affected. Sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're happy, right? Maybe you left the house and then your wife scolded you. You're not happy. But then so you see, so these things affect you because we are human, right? So I want you to think about that so that you have a more fuller understanding of the whole thing. Okay, so I put some explanations here. You can read the slides. If it's not there, whatever, you don't have to take down anything because whatever I show you, I will upload for you onto Xerox. Okay, so we talk about direction, we're talking about markets, we're talking about resources and so on, and the environment and stakeholders, as I mentioned to you, right? So you find that oftentimes you need strategy because you're challenging what? Bigger companies, right? Your competition. Chances are many of them are better than you, isn't it? Yeah, you may have some advantage, but a lot of times they're better than you. So this is always the challenge, okay? One of the key persons that you need to be familiar with if you're studying strategy is Henry Mintzberg. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. This guy is the father of strategy. Father. So tomorrow, Bharat, when you are in a what should I say, Starbucks, or maybe you are in some nice kopitiam place, having coffee with your friends who also did the MBA in other universities. You just lean back and say, strategy, Henry Mintzberg. And then you look at their reaction. If they have not heard of Henry Mintzberg, then their lecturers must be in my class. If you study strategy and you've not heard of Henry Mintzberg, it is a sad day, a very sad day. We will reduce all our flags by half-mast. Henry Mintzberg, the father of strategy. That means he covers all the areas of strategy. He is so important. I usually never recommend my students to read books. I know it's counterintuitive, but I don't, because books reading takes a long time. But there's one book I recommend to all my students, and that's a book by Henry Mintzberg called Strategy Safari. I'm watching you to see whether you write down that word, but none of you are. So you should. I know it's nice to listen to me, but whatever I say is important. Strategy Safari. It is so important that it is one of the key books I always have on my desk. And in case you want to know, this is what it looks like. Strategy Safari. I highly recommend that you get this book. It's by Henry Mintzberg, Bruce Alstrand, and Joseph Lempel. Okay. I'm not sure where Strategy Safari is. There you go. The reason why I suggest this book is because it's easy to read. It's not too difficult. And also it's a timeless book. Bermakna, if you buy a textbook, after 2 years, it's outdated then. But Strategy Safari talks about the principles of strategy. And it's timeless, meaning to say that this book in 20 years is still useful. That is why I recommend to you, because many of you may want to do your PhD after this or further your studies in something else. This book becomes useful. The other reason why this book is useful is because if you buy the book and in your workplace, wherever you're sitting, and you put the book there, everybody will look at you and say, wow, even though you have not read it, just put, but everybody will say, whoa, don't mess.
It's a necessary, doctor. Becomes a necessary.
Yeah. A very profound accessory, not just any accessory. Your boss will come and say, Hazila, okay, good, she's reading Strategy Safari. Wow, he will, Hazila, he will look at you with new eyes, you know. Actually, Hazila has already got many books in the background. Oh my God. But
Wallpaper only.
I say. You see, wallpaper.
But I love books.
You love books, huh?
Yeah.
I'm different. I don't like books. I like the learning, but I don't like books so much. But anyway, doesn't matter. The point is, get this book. This is one book you'd get. You will not regret it because you can use it and it's good learning. Okay, so Henry Mintzberg talks about how strategy applies, right? And he talks about it in different ways. You can read that. One of the key things about, and very real, guys, is that strategy doesn't just remain. It doesn't just remain. There's this thing called, what he called realized or emergent strategy. That means it changes. It changes, right? Maybe an airline decided that they want to be a premium airline, but along the way, they have what you say, business economy. You know, they are trying to get the lower end of the market. The strategy is changing slightly. Have you noticed or not? Airlines now have got under economy, they got premium economy. Have you heard of that? Isn't it? Got premium economy. So the low-cost airline is trying to become more premium. The premium airline is trying to become a bit more cost. So they're trying to get a bigger share of the market. And to some extent, this is what Mintzberg was talking about. He talked about emergent strategy. That's very interesting. Why? Because we need to know that, because then only when you look at things, it makes sense to us. Okay.
People like cheap.
Yeah. People like cheap, but then there are people who can pay as well. So you want both the markets, isn't it? So it's something to think about for sure. Yeah. So what is strategy? Is this strategy? What is happening here? Is this strategy? Who say yes?
Yes. It's
Kevin.
not a strategy.
Kevin.
No. It's a strategy, like a gathering all in one place, just like attacking.
I see. It's a prank.
It's a prank. Yeah.
It's a
Thank
prank.
you, Solehan said prank. It's correct. It's a prank. But what kind of prank? This is a prank in a university. I'm assuming it's a university or some organization where everyone's got to take for, maybe the students, those are the students who got B- and all, and they're not happy. Not sure. But the point is, but we know it's a prank, but the bigger question is this strategy?
Yes, they plan out.
This is tragedy, bro. This is tragedy.
Okay. Atika, tell us, why is it strategy?
Because everyone is at the ground floor, and they all have all the buckets of water ready to pour down. They
Very
plan
good.
it out.
Exactly. Atika, that's a very good point. You know why it's strategy? Because it involves planning. That means they must go up there at the same time. And yang paling penting, Atika, the most important is everybody must drop the water at the same time. If one person drops even a little bit of water, people down there would have seen, and what they disperse. They go away, right? And the prank won't work. So even though it's a prank, I'm not recommending it. But what I'm trying to say is that it involves a lot of strategy, actually. Right?
Yeah.
Bringing it up there on time, making sure everybody drops the water at the same time is quite difficult to do, actually, when you think about it. Okay, so in that sense, we say that, yes, this is strategy as well. Okay, so what is strategy? Is it a plan? Is it a perspective? Is it a way of looking at things? This is something that Mintzberg would talk about, right? So essentially, he says strategy is the bridge, if you look here, between the policy or high order goals and tactics or concrete actions. So strategy, so in your organization, you've got what they call a vision, mission, right? But what do you actually do? The tactics, the actual things that you put into action to achieve that. That whole thing is called strategy. Right? That whole thing is called strategy. That's what they're saying. Okay, so if we say that that is strategy, then we will know that formulating a clear understanding becomes very important. In order for strategy to work, there must be clear understanding. So when you are talking about the airline and Atika is a consultant to the airline, one of the things she must advise the CEO or the board is that you need to have a clear understanding of the ends. And that means not only the people on top, but the people at the bottom, even the guy who's driving the truck, even the guy who's driving the bus that links one airline to the terminal. Sometimes there's a bus. That person also must understand, because that means if he understands that this airline is about providing the best service, he will make sure that he gets to his destination on time. So this one, you as a consultant, you can advise as well. Right now. So it's a good point for the last part of your assignment, number 2. What do you see here? What is this on your screen?
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
I'm glad you said lighthouse, because when some people actually say it's a rocket. Come on, Asai. This is a rocket.
I'm not saying I have the lighthouse.
Exactly, it's a lighthouse. I also thought so. But somebody actually said rocket. I wanted to take a rocket and shoot them, but that's this. Much of money. So anyway, the point is this. So strategy is like that. It's like a lighthouse. It gives you that direction. And if you know, a lighthouse is necessary because the waters are really rough. The seas is dark, especially at night. You really need that. It helps you. Strategy is like that, right? It provides direction and it shapes actions, okay? So the point is, why we need to understand it clearly, because there is nothing which rots morale more quickly than knowing that the person in charge does not know what to do. This is a very good point. And this is something you must advise the CEO, because if, let's say, Syed is working for me, Monday I come to, hey Syed, this one very important. I want this to be done by Friday. Sangat penting. Wednesday I come to him, Syed, that one not so important, but this one is very important. I need it by Monday. All right, weekend also you have to work, no choice. So Syed say, okay. Sunday night, Syed is almost finishing the work. Hey Syed, that one, I think we need to change that. We do something, So what happened to Syed after a while? His morale goes down. He said, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And organization can affect the whole organization if there's no direction. Any airline, any large institution is the same, right? That means they say, they don't know. So the staff morale is an intangible thing, but sangat penting. Right now, feelings, the perasaan of the staff, the morale becomes low. So you can imagine how important that is, okay? So if we say that's important and we want clear communication, how do we achieve it? Well, one of the things that people suggest is discussion and debates. People are talking, right? Organizations are providing that opportunity for discussion. Maybe you have a town hall meeting, right? There's some organizations that have a town hall meeting, but it's a one-way meeting. The boss talks, everybody listen. That's not called a town hall, I'm sorry. Town hall is where people ask questions and from the floor, right? Or there's some kind of other kind of forum, right? And some bosses will have this, what is known as the open door policy. Oh, my door is open. You can come and see me anytime. So, but on the floor, the main door is closed. His door is open, but the door. Fatina, betul lah, isn't it? Oh, my door is open. I've come across many CEOs like that. Oh, my door is open. My door is always open. Yeah, your door is open because you want ventilation. But the main door to enter your floor is locked. No card, pass. Side. So where's the discussion? Where's the debate? And I'm not talking about CEO, even managers and their executive staffs, even managers and floor staff, things like that, right? So you know what I mean. Now, if you look at this,
I think it's a Malaysian culture, Prof.
Betul lah, of course, the hierarchy is so high. Before you can even talk to person, you must say Tan Sri, Dato Sri, Puan Sri, and the MBA.
Exactly.
So that's a discussion for another day lah. But that's what do you call it? Power distance lah. You would have learned that as well, right? But that's a good point. But here we come to, how does one ensure understanding and obtain commitment. We talked about that, right? We say, oh, it's so important, communication and so on, and we go on commitment. And we in this picture here, I ask you a question. Where is my pen now? I don't know whether I can write here. No, let me see. Is this okay? We say top and bottom. There's one guy on top. There's one guy. Everybody listen carefully and think about this. There's one guy on top and one guy at the bottom. Who is giving more commitment?
The guy on the top?
Equal commitment.
Both also equal. Both commitment equal.
Equal,
No,
equal.
Equal. Okay, I can hear equal, unequal, and all that. Okay, all of you, those of you who say the guy on the top is given more commitment, put up your hand. Put up your hand now. I can count on that. Okay, there, top. Okay, those of you who say, okay, the rest. Okay, the rest. I assume that you are saying the guy at the bottom. Those of you who say that it's equal, put up a hand. Three. No, yeah. You all don't want to make any commitment. Afraid of commitment. Those who say both. Putri, I think so. Y'all are no commitment one. Easy lah, this way. You thought about you get half a mark. Forget it. You're not going to get any marks. It's either one or the other. Take a decision. No in between. Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Top. I say bottom.
Bottom.
Top.
Okay.
Bottom. I choose the bottom.
There is
Top.
endless
I feel
arguments.
like
What?
The bottom has to completely let go of everything.
yeah, the top person
Yeah,
has a
bottom have
little
to
bit of
be
support.
But commitment is about holding each other, right?
This is one of the classes that has actually got it right, not all of you, just Atika and one other guy I heard him say. They said that the guy on top at any one time was linked to something. The guy at the bottom, at some point, he let go. At some point, he let go. Betul tak? Think about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give the trust to the top.
The commitment. Kari, the commitment. He made a commitment. He let go. Right? He's either very trusting or stupid. I'm not sure.
They plan this together, sir.
In between.
Hey,
For
Fatina,
the common cause.
Hello, Fatina, we all know the plan. But the point is, if you are at the bottom, plan or no plan, you had to let go at one point and you hope the guy is ready to catch you. So
yeah, it's the risk.
But the risk is there for whoever's doing this up in the sky, the risk is high. But the point is, commitment-wise, in terms of level of commitment, is not the same for both of them. Somebody made a commitment. And it was the guy at the bottom. My point is, what you want is for your staff, your employees, the people who work in the organization to make a commitment to the organization. That's what you want. That's ideal. Kalau tidak, it'll become like Jessica. Jessica said, after work, I go, okay, I don't know. I gone home already. The company closed, open, whatever happened, I don't care. Jessica, like that.
Not really.
Oh, you see, such a wonderful employee. I knew she was a wonderful employee, but I didn't want to say it, but I use a different way. See, she cares about, I mean, when she goes home also, she's thinking about the employee, right? Sorry, the employer.
Hi, Prof. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. You said something interesting just now when we all answered about having equal commitment, and you said there's no such thing as equal commitment. So
No. As far as this picture is concerned,
Oh, okay. So in terms of like an organization, do you think that there is an equal commitment between the employee and also the authorities, or there's always someone who does more and then the authorities could say like, oh, you're disposable, something like that.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think the latter.
The latter, meaning that both have to have equal commitment.
There is no such thing as equal commitment, bro.
Yeah, like I mean, the latter as in like, you know, the authorities of the company can just say like,
hello,
you know,
hello.
whatever commitment.
Farhan, she's a consultant. Please don't say whatever. She's giving an ideal situation. We know it's not achievable. Everybody knows that. But she's saying that, yes, you want the employee to be committed, right? Meanwhile, you, right, half-baked, right? And you're not really giving the full commitment to the. It's true what she says. It's the ideal situation. Of course, we know in reality it's hard now. It's harder, of course. But this is something we strive towards, right? And you all please be like Jessica, right? Concerned about the company and
employer.
Yeah, but I'm not sure whether Jessica, are you working or not? Suddenly, she's only concerned about her family because she's a housewife or something.
HR works 24 hours.
You see, guys, shame on you all. Shame on the rest of you. You see people working 24.
I feel ashamed, bro.
No, sebenarnya shame on me as well. I never 24 hours. I'm definitely not 24 hours. But let's not talk about me. Conversations are very important, isn't it? Within the organization, there's conversation between parties, right? And so that to help people to come on board. If let's say I tell Nurul, hey Nurul, sekarang, you know, our organization, we want to work extra 1 hour, for example. Okay. How do if I tell her just like that, wow, Nurul will be like a bit upset, isn't it? But if I sat down with Nurul and we have a discussion and said, look, you know, this next 3 months, we have this order from overseas, we have to meet it. And then it's important for our organization. If we get this, we can get other orders as well. And then we can hire more staff, but now we can't. So we come together, all of us, we work together, extra 1 hour. Nurul, can Nurul?
Sure.
You see, guys, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. And I'm talking to Nurul, who previously didn't care about organization. Note that I didn't ask Jessica, because Jessica, we know already is committed. She would have said yes. But so I used an example, perfect example. This is exactly how you must answer the assignment. Thank you very much. You may clap if you feel like it.
Prof, I think people just need to understand the reason of doing such thing.
Betul. Conversation. In a conversation, when we have a conversation, I can let Nurul say, yes, boss, I can, but on Friday I can't, because Friday I have to pick my daughter from tuition. Maybe she say that. So we're having a conversation. Then she can have a buy-in. She will say, yes, okay. So then things work. Then the commitment comes along, right? This is what we're talking about. So you all tomorrow as bosses must do that as well. So the question is how, and I put some points here. So basically, yeah, we all need a strategy, an escape strategy, if you like. And I put some points here about corporate strategy, business unit, all of this you can read, which is there. So making strategic decisions is very important for top management, right? Strategic decisions that can benefit the organization. If you look at this, is this a strategic decision? What's happening here? What do you see? They're putting 1 night only, right? Now, guys, my point is this could be the worst show on the earth, the worst show, but it's only for 1 night, which means you won't know until you buy the ticket.
A very strategic
It's a good
advertisement.
plan.
Not strategic. This is a con man.
But it's a good plan.
It's a good.
But they still get money.
Bukhari, I'm worried about you. I'm going to keep an eye on you. You said it's a good plan. I don't know. I'm going to check on you. Why? Business position, external factors, and this one all reading. I put some. My point is there are many instruments out there, guys. In our classes, we are not going to go through all the instruments. We use on the basic instruments because I'm not interested in you telling me about all instruments. I'm interested in you applying. So when you use pest analysis, which is now actually not pest, it's called pestle or whatever changes. Scenario planning, 5 forces, it doesn't matter. I'm interested in you applying it as opposed to knowing it. So if you give me 10 different, even if you SWOT analysis is fine by me, right? Any analysis that allows you to get the results that you want, and that's fine. learning of new instruments. There are many out there, and it's nothing to be too crazy about. So the important thing is, especially when in the airlines, you must understand who the stakeholders are. Sometimes the stakeholders is partly government. Sometimes the stakeholders are private shareholders, for example. Right? So you have to, if you like to use the word, like, look after their requirements as well. Right? So it can be challenging. So other things like organizational action. I put some questions here to help you to think along those lines in terms of strategy. Right? Corporate strategy. What does that mean? And so on and so on. So I put this up and you can look at it. So strategy is about means. What would you use? What tactics, what actions to get to where you want to be? Okay, and hopefully you get to the top. It's a gap, filling of a gap, right? And hopefully you have a winning strategy. That's about it. That's all. That's what strategy is. So understanding strategy in that way, based on what Johnson Scholes has said, what Mintzberg has said, is fine. If you know that, that's enough, guys. Don't make the mistake of going to Google and putting strategy and read the 150,000 articles on strategy. No. Just read what I have provided you and understand it and then apply it. It's enough. Trust me. Okay? That's it. I put some review questions here. This is Barbara. Introduce you to Barbara. She always asks questions sometimes. What is strategy? And just to, as you go through the notes, you come to the questions, you can ask yourself the questions, see whether you understand. And because I like all of you, I'll give you the answers as well here. So Lehan is looking and saying, we don't need the answer, sir. We already know what to do. Okay, that's it. That's all, right? I hope many people don't realize, but understanding the word strategy, everything else will fall into place, right? If you understood 86% of what we learned today, you are well on your way, guys. You are well on your way, right, to making awesome progress in strategic management. Shalini, what do you say, Shalini?
I agree to you, sir.
I tell you, you are on my radar. That's it. Marks are going to come your way like it's crazy because she agreed. Jessica, because she's committed to her organization, she won't get any marks because it's got nothing to do with us. And now you all are seeing how this thing works, right? So, so that's it, guys. Are there any questions? We've looked at. Oh, by the way, when you go onto Eurox, please also look at the course outline. Actually, I didn't go through the course outline because we've done it actually by looking at the assignments. The most important is assignments. Now, beside the assignments, there's the issue of attendance and participation, right? So hopefully you are participating in class, and I see many of you are already. So it's really, really wonderful. I'm sorry if we cannot go through every single person. If not, we'll be here till 5 p.m. And that's a bit too long for me. Otherwise, the class will seem like work, and we all know work is a four-letter word we don't want. So if everybody is good, today's class was a little bit longer. Other classes, I'm very, very specific. I will put up whatever notes there is. You can see some articles on Eurox. Do try and read them. And other notes will also be there. Whatever we do in class, you don't have to take down. It will be there as well. So you'll be well guided. And other classes will be much shorter and very focused. You know why? Because I have a strategy. Bharat, what do you think?
You really mean that, Prof?
That's a good
Really mean that? I'm gonna believe it. I'm gonna believe.
I practice
Thank you,
what I
Prof.
preach.
Thank you, Prof.
This is a good one, Doc.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
I
Thank you,
practice
Prof.
what I preach.
Really
I practice what I preach. Okay. So
Prof,
anyway, the
I have
point is,
question.
yes, Akila, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Thank you,
I have
Prof.
questions
Yeah,
regarding this.
guys, Akila's got a question.
Sorry. So regarding the strategy, right, based on your experience, right? So do you think that what we call each generation gap, like we have millennials, we have baby boomers, and we have alpha generation. will affect, will have an impact. Meaning to say, we need to see based on that generation before we want to deploy the strategy. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's a very fine point, Akila. I'm glad you brought that up. It's true. Each organization being very large, and especially airlines. I just to mention airlines because large organizations, it makes up of many different people, new people who've just joined, and people who are almost nearing retirement. How do you organize that for them? Later on in one of my classes, and since you mentioned that, I try to see if I can include that in my next class, where I will talk about that as well, right? How you resonate with your audience in the sense, in this way, when we say audience, we're talking about the employees, right? Some of them who are, like you said, millennials, Gen Zs, and so on, and what we should do and how we should organize it. We'll talk about that. That's a good point, right? That'll be a lesson by itself.
Because the airline is, I can say, if it's a Malaysia airline, the stakeholders are mostly, experienced, right? The boomers, I can say. So if they say we are the consultant, imagine that we are the millennials. So how is the best approach based on your experience, actually?
Basically you want to look at how do you want to link what the goals are and get it communicated correctly, fitted well with the younger ones who are coming up. Yeah. So like I said, that one needs a lot of discussion. It's not something that there's no one sentence answer to that. And I think I will try to make a note and see if I can't include that in my next discussion with you. Actually, we do address that actually in one of the
Professor.
Yeah.
We have a group.
Who's the professor here? My name is Roland. Excuse me. Who? Yeah. Ask me quickly. Hey, please ask quickly because I promised the others 19 minutes. And now you see, it's now only 20 minutes. Quickly, what?
Actually, according to the Akila's question, right? So, basically, I think I watched one of the video as a narrative about Ray Dalio. It will do a conduct of questionnaires or kind of the goals or whatever they want to make an optimal decision of organization. So they will ask everybody, and then they will have a team discussion. Like we talk about the understanding, right? So there's a discussion ongoing. So the top guy will see what exactly everybody is seeing certain things. So based on that, we able to take a right decision to the right thing. So something like that.
Yeah. But don't worry. Again, that's a good point. But also, there's been I've done a research, a 30-year study, actually longitudinal, across all the CEOs of very large organizations within Malaysia, and I can tell you the outcome. The next time I see you, keep you in tentative. I will discuss that point as to how the CEOs should operate and how they actually do operate across a span of time over the last 30 years. And these are the top companies, including Maxis and some of the rest. And what has happened. We looked at the CEOs and how they behave. So that one I'll share with you.
What about?
Did Prof just go
Drop
on
off, is
silence?
it? I think his line drop off, is it?
Prof DC.
Is that a prank?
Yeah.
No.
Can we screenshot and send this to him?
Part of
No,
strategy.
that would be too bad.
Yeah,
Maybe he left.
DC left.
He make a plan.
Maybe we can continue in the buddies group.
Yeah,
No,
ada
I
group
think
ke?
you just tunggu sekejap.
Right?
I think you all
Sorry.
wait for a while. Give about 5 minutes.
He's back.
Yeah.
Come back,
He's
Prof.
back.
We were shocked that you leave.
I'm a bit
and
worried
just
because when you said he's back, you sounded happy. So I really think something's wrong with you guys. But never mind. The point is everything you want. And sometimes when I get the latest articles, I also place it on Europe. So just hang around Europe for a bit. And the two issues we will be discussing next week as well. And I hope to see you again, certainly on Sunday, next Sunday. Right? Do come because it's going to be very interesting. There's a lot more to do. All right, guys. Thank you very much.